Good morning. So it is Thursday already. Wow. So we've started our outside sessions this week to go alongside our home workouts, and the some of the questions I've had are around breakfast around it. So like if people are maybe getting in the car and traveling to our outside session, or if someone gets up for the home workout, just kind of rolls out of the bed and then kind of wants to just do it and not get up early to have breakfast. So breakfast has come up a lot this week, and I think I would say most of the ladies who start on the 28-day kickstart will often be of the mindset that, oh, I know, I get this a lot. I know I'm being rubbish, but I'm not eating breakfast. Or they'll say things like, I eat breakfast, but I just thought you had to spike your metabolism. And just me saying those two sentences basically shows how confusing and conflicting it can be. And I'd go as far as saying is, even when I was at university, even when I'll be sat in lectures listening to different lectures, some people would say stuff that was just almost like you hear so many times that you think it's true, like a blanket, yes, breakfast is important, when it might not be for everyone. And I think it reminds me of kind of the issue we have with when you hear something enough times, it sticks in your head. And often when it sticks in your head for long enough, we believe it to be truer than it perhaps is. And I could go back to saying in terms of speaking in front of people, like public speaking, I used to hate it, go red, like I'd rather literally do anything but do it, to the extent where I'd actually call in and just not turn up to my university ones until I had to. Another thing altogether. And we have these beliefs that can hold us back. I'm not fit enough. People will say on our program, I'm too lazy. I don't have the willpower. I don't have the motivation. I can't stick to it for long enough. I can't do it when I'm stressed, when I'm tired. And when you hold these for long enough, we kind of live up to them. And what if, and this is a little challenge, what if the opposite was actually just as true as believing that thought? And it's the same when it comes to breakfast. Like, is it the most important meal of the day? I would say it's no more important than other meals. And if we look at defining breakfast, it is literally just breaking the fast, whether you do that at 5 a.m. or 12 p.m. And I guess the key thing is if you consider why should you have breakfast? Well, it might stop you grabbing something like a snack mid-morning, which is often high in fat, high in sugar, quick and easy. So I guess you've got to make sure you're planned for that if you're not having breakfast. But that's why it can be good. It can often be because you can actually choose what you eat then, right? So you're likely to be at home. You can maybe prepare something the night before or have something in the morning, and what you're having is going to be perhaps more nutritious than just relying on whatever's going to be out there. But then you've got to consider why breakfast might not be for you. Well, you might not be that hungry. You might start really early. Like, for example, this morning, I'm about to head off for our outside sessions. And, by starting early, I'm not really hungry at that time. So I might just take a bit of food for later, or just have it when I get back, which will be mid-morning, which will be when some people get up anyway. So how do you define breakfast, It might be also that you prefer to eat more in the evening. Like you might prefer it to be kind of a social thing. So, for example, I don't want to restrict my food intake too much in the evening, especially if we're having a family meal. So I can allow myself a bit more calories for then and have that flexibility. And like someone said in the question, when they eat breakfast, they actually get hungry. And for me, cereal actually definitely does that. When I remember having cereal, it would be like, one, I'd have 4 times the portion size. 2, I'd want another bowl straight after. And I guess you then got to consider, when you look at the facts, okay, my portion of cereal, is big. If I actually looked at the calories, it might be the same as, like, and I joke because I said the other day I had brie for breakfast, and someone said, like, brie for breakfast. And I'm like, yeah, well, if you look at how much I had and compared to like an average portion size of cereal, there's not much difference. So do I eat breakfast? Sometimes. It depends what I'm doing, whether I'm going out in the evening, not obviously at the moment, but having like a big meal in the evening, or Depends whether I'm starting early, depends whether I can get food in the middle of the day, because if not, I want to make sure I have something so that I'm not ravenous and maybe relying on something on the go, which could then be worse. So what I would do is just finish, whether breakfast is the most important meal for you, depends on these two things. This is if your goal is fat loss, by the way, and also, I guess, productivity, just relying on food all day. Will eating breakfast today mean that you eat more or less over the day in terms of calories? Will you be more satisfied in terms of, will you overeat on the calories, or will you be more in control by having it or not? Consider then, will eating breakfast actually make me feel better and give me more or less energy? And I say this because some people actually feel quite slumped after having their breakfast. And then we could look at food choices, making sure we're getting some protein in there, which is often lacking from breakfast anyway. Okay, so consider that any progress is progress. Your weight will fluctuate up and down throughout this process. Like, if you're in some studies where they say that people who ate breakfast lost more weight, you've got to consider that quite often they did the weighing in the morning, and the people who ate breakfast often ate really early or didn't eat dinner, or ate like a small dinner, whereas the people who didn't eat breakfast ate a bigger dinner. Now, of course, they're going to be heavier because they went to bed later and they got up and ate later and they had more food in their gut still. So it's a very flawed thing sometimes to look at, especially if they average the weight over. When calories are the same, it seems not to matter. And yes, eating will spike your metabolism, but your metabolism is just a sum of all reactions in your body. Me talking now is spiking my metabolism, but not to the extent that I can eat something to compensate for that. So if I eat something to spike my metabolism, it's not going to burn enough calories to burn off the food I'm actually eating. So I hope that helps. A quick rundown. Let me know if you have breakfast. What's your experiences with that? Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on that. Does it make you hungry? Do you feel like you have to have it because Kellogg said so? I don't know. What do you have for breakfast? What keeps you full up? Be interested to see and to help some others too. Take care. Have a lovely day and enjoy the sun before the storms come. Speak soon.